gonna be a. I'll
man.
save it. I'll save it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna be a season. It's gonna be a
It will
season.
be. YouTube, hello, by the way. I'm actually starting the YouTube stream like before we actually start recording, which is kind of the idea. Like, if you want to come, like, hang out and talk about what the heck the Steelers are doing or something like that's kind of the idea of this. You come hang
Art
out.
Rooney.
We'll actually be here to. Anyways, so good for me. I had go live at 7:00. Hope you guys are doing well, though. I know some of you watch. Basically, while you're waiting on Slow Me to edit this show, you go back and watch on YouTube. So shout out to you guys if you are doing that. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're enjoying all the college hoops and whatever else is going on. So I have a problem. I think I do know what I'm following, but I've literally just been so locked into college basketball this week that's like all I've done.
There are so many other things like. Let's see. Oh, nope, no premium. I gotta get it. There's an extension that blocks that premium thing. What did I send? No.
Oh, on Twitter?
It wasn't anything I sent. It was the thing that we're going to talk about. I have my bookmarks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm.
I didn't even bookmark.
Yeah, that's what I'm following. I was gonna say I bookmarked like weeks ago. I bookmarked weeks ago just in case.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Like the last thing I bookmarked on Twitter, this just shows you how
Dang it, I can't hear you guys.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no worries.
All right, give me a sec. Let me close this out and read.
Actually, I can just say whatever I want to say anyway.
Oh gosh. Our stream, it's dying. Hang on. Can I fix this quickly? Hang on. All right, that's as good as it's going to get, YouTube. Sorry. This is what happens. Spoiler alert, I don't actually have these videos in their nice little windows. It's just a screen recording, so when there's only two people, it looks super funky. So, whoops.
Oh, gotcha.
But YouTube, if you want, we still have.
I can download
NFL draft
Discord
overview that has no cameras on it.
There it is. I can just download Discord on my work laptop real quick and have two of me.
That's what I did when I was actually working on the.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yep. It's probably your input-output settings on Discord. But
if you could hear us,
because you can't hear me. Hang on, let me text him. Or I'll have YouTube text Johnny for me. That'll be efficient.
We could do a fun game where you text Johnny, hey, just start talking about the Steelers.
Yeah.
And then I'll do it at the same time. And we'll see how much we agree.
Yeah. I can even like send him a screen recording of my, or like a screenshot of my
check.
Oh, I might be able to text a screenshot of where the settings are.
Yeah, because I'm running on PC, but I'm texting from my Mac.
Oh, do you want to? You want to do a screen? Could you? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I could screen share real quick. Hold on, let me share screens.
Oh yeah, there you go. All right,
and then
YouTube. We'll see how much this breaks the stream. I'm very excited.
Share my screen. Share. Oh wait. Open system. Hold on. Open system settings. I gotta allow it. How about this one? Yes, this one. Go live. Oh,
that.
Hold on.
Oh,
didn't.
It just
there
switched,
we go.
You just switched places.
Okay,
now you're on the bottom of my screen, or maybe you were before. I'm just dumb. Uh-oh. Now he's gone. What the heck was that?
It's fine.
Whoa. I promise. Johnny's audio is weird right now.
Oh wait, that was him. Did you put a filter on?
I didn't. Can you hear us now, though, Johnny?
Oh, wait, that sigh, was that you?
The sigh came through.
Okay, the sigh was good. That was a good quality sigh.
He's gone. All right.
I'm going to share my screen now.
Josh and I. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hold on, back.
See, if you're someone that just watches the YouTube streams, this is what you get. We don't even charge for this.
Oh, that's weird.
We don't even charge for this. I mean, I guess I could share mine. That I can do.
Oh yeah, you can, because for some reason it's not letting me do mine.
All right. Let's see here.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
You got it.
Didn't do any.
Easy.
Turned it off, turned it back on, unplugged my headphones, plugged them back in. I have no idea.
60% of the time, it works every time.
I don't know.
Maybe it's
Sorry
good.
about that.
Yeah, no, you're good. We were no, it was good content for YouTube, so it's all good.
It's good YouTube.
Yeah. I was saying how I actually do have something I'm kind of following well enough to talk about it on the show, but I've literally just every waking moment that I've had available, I've been watching conference tournaments.
There's been too many legitimate things happening for us to do dumb things.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's all right though. So on the baseball stuff, I just threw a couple ideas there. I'm not, like I said, a preview-ish because I'm not really trying to spend a whole episode on it necessarily. Like 10 minutes.
Big storylines.
Yeah, just big storylines. Or like I said, like if there's a team that you're really high on compared to other people, or you don't think it's going to be good, or a dark horse or whatever, like, yeah. We
Cool.
can just talk about that. So yeah, pretty chill. And obviously the baseball magazine's coming out soon, so that'll kind of cover for the people that really want to get into it. But otherwise,
Yeah.
I think it's straightforward. Other than that.
Cording. Yeah.
Josh, did you get my bracketology update for the day?
You may. Yes. Let me check it.
Cool. It's just a reference point too,
Perfect,
just so
thank you.
can look at what I'm looking at too. But I'm good.
All right.
Otherwise,
sweet. I'll hit
ready.
record. Check.
Hold on. Sorry. I got a spam account for my mom. That's fun.
I'm recording and it's recording me.
All right.
Cool.
Welcome to the show.
We're good. I'm going to hit record. You're fine. I'm good. Now I'm good.
All right. Cool. Welcome to the show.
Looking at
Josh, I've got 4 words for you. I had to count.
Please no. Please don't.
Let's do it. Ready? Steelers country. Let's smelt. Let's go.
Oh.
How are
Do
we
you
feeling?
prefer let's weld, Josh? What do you prefer? Let's
The
steal?
over under has been set on how many times he's going to say iron sharpens iron before the season starts.
Ooh.
Oh gosh. Hi guys. I'm present.
Mm-hmm.
I'm breathing. I'm trying to be grounded. It's 6:00 here, which is way too late for me to be drinking coffee because I'm an old man now, but I'm drinking coffee because I need at least some energy to process and internalize what just happened to Mike Tomlin's winning streak.
Oh, Josh, please. They're still going to get over 500 somehow.
They're
Get
going to
outta
go one
here.
game. They're going to go one game above 500. It's okay.
Or maybe they'll go
Denver
straight
wasn't
up
that bad
500.
this year.
Like maybe they'll even tie. They'll get a tie and finish right at 500. Maybe
Listen.
that'll happen.
What's going to be nice is the bathrooms to touchdowns race. Hopefully, is going to be a little bit faster since it's only a 1-year contract. We'll be fine. How are you guys doing? Let's talk about how you guys are doing before I dictate the
Before we
rest of how
get
this
into it.
podcast is going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing really good. I had a great week, and that's because every available moment I had, any free time, was pretty much spent watching conference tournaments, which is one of my favorite things to do. So this week was pretty great. There were some great tournaments. There was some. I mean, the Big South, that was a great one. Both semifinals, double overtime. Atlantic Sun, great. Sun Belt, it's been wild. Arch Madness, good as advertised. It's all been excellent. You have Longwood, a 5 seed, winning the Big South. It's all been great. So I feel like my week's been good. Ohio is still doing the thing where, it's winter. It snowed yesterday. And then today, Johnny and I are out playing pickleball in upper 50-degree weather. So what does that mean? It means that Ohio is drunk and I have a headache at all times. Not because Ohio is drunk, just because the weather shifts 40 degrees in a day.
That's the residual drunkenness of all of Pittsburgh.
Yes. Yes, it is. Johnny, what about you, man? How's your week?
My week has been interesting. My soccer teams collectively tried to kill me over the weekend. With
In a different way than normal?
Well, the Crew scored their winner in the 100th minute with inexplicably 12 added minutes on. Again, cannot complain with the result.
Ugh.
And then Arsenal, after giving up just a horrendous blunder by the goalie, they scored in the 87th minute to beat Brentford to stay in that title race. And they're actually on goal differential now in first, with Liverpool and Man City drawing yesterday. So that will be a fun final 10 games down the stretch. My shoe tried to murder me today, or at least my ankle. While me and Aaron were playing said pickleball, I blew the tire out, so to speak, of my shoe.
Full Zion
It imploded.
Williamson.
Yes, a Zion Williamson there for sure. What else? I mean, honestly, and then I love the bracketology, man. Like, there is no work in following this. It is my pleasure to follow bracketology this time of year. To go to war for mid majors, to go to war for them. Indiana State, I am with you all the way, and any other mid major programs out there that have an argument for their at-large bid over a 13 or 14 loss, seventh best in their conference team.
Gross.
So, yes, it has been a good week. I mean, even today, no cavities. First time having no cavities going to the dentist.
Wow.
Okay.
In like a decade. I hadn't gone to the dentist in like 2 years. So lesson learned. Don't go to the dentist. You can't have cavities if that happens.
Actually so true.
Yeah.
Yep. That logic's absolutely flawless. So
Airtight.
I mean, that's amazing. 2 streaks broken today. The Pittsburgh Steelers winning season streak, and your cavity streak. Wow.
In reality, Josh, I actually think Russell Wilson's an upgrade from Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
So
yeah. So it's like half the quarterback squad out there.
Right. That doesn't mean I think Russell is great.
You want 2023 stats compared because it got him right here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're asking also like.
No, here's
Mason Rudolph.
Here's the
like,
thing.
what are we talking about here?
I'm going to start with the positives. One, dirt cheap.
Yes.
League minimum,
right,
like $1.1 million, whatever.
Right.
Russell Wilson knew that the
No
Broncos
risk.
were going to have the most expensive like back pay. So like he's still getting paid like $39 million regardless in the Broncos. So he has the luxury of going wherever he wants to go. Rumor had it that he was going to wait a sec until after the draft to see who might want to pick him up. But with the Steelers drafting him, it seems like that choice is a little bit more clear. I remember a few weeks ago talking about how, it might be nice to maybe make a move for a mobile quarterback, even though that's not been the Steelers style. So yeah, how about a 36-year-old instead of the very eligible Justin Fields? That makes sense. Yeah, that's cool.
I think that's the heart of Steelers frustrations. I think that's the heart of fans' frustrations.
Mobile, yeah, well, there's a mobile guy out there who's a little bit free and could be close-ish to, his old stomping grounds. We could make this happen. He technically had more passing yards per game than Kenny Pickett.
Nice.
Kenny Pickett had 172 yards average per game. And Russell Wilson has 204 average per game. And you know how good Arthur Smith was last year, right?
That's my favorite thing to look forward to. Russell Wilson.
He's going to take.
I mean, Pickens and his chaotic personality, and Arthur Smith, who will not draw up a single play for George Pickens for 3 games straight.
Yeah.
He's going to forget the guys on the field.
Yep. There's some third string running back and wide receiver that they don't even know about that will be getting all the calls.
Yes.
Arthur Smith is so down the wormhole of what can I do here that
Ugh.
he's asking his assistant coaches, I think we got to run something for Troy Polamalu. And they look at him and they say, Arthur, he's been retired for 6 years. He's not here. And then that's how deep Arthur Smith is into overthinking this thing.
Oh my god.
He's ready to draw
dude-
plays for a former linebacker.
He will never be welcome in Atlanta again, especially if Kirk
Oh.
Cousins and that team pops off this year, which
Uh-huh.
they got to be the betting favorite in the NFC South now.
If you want to grab a 36-year-old, he was open. Why are we? Anyway,
He's off an
fine.
Achilles tear. I mean, I get
Yeah,
it, but
then he's
Atlanta
not
gave him
mobile,
some
and that's why the
money.
Steelers
Paid
operate.
him. Woo.
Yeah,
Also, we
because they
could not
said
have-
the
we had no cap
Vikings
space.
didn't just let him leave. They wanted to keep him,
Yeah,
but
sure.
apparently Atlanta got into
Wow.
a bidding war with Minnesota for Kirk Cousins.
Mm.
36-year-old Kirk
Let him-
Cousins.
let him
Only
live.
Achilles.
Yep.
Let
shot.
him live. That dude has gotten the bag like 3 times
Good for
now.
him.
I respect that.
Mhm.
Yep. I love that
I
guy.
res- I
Love that
respect
guy.
that.
Love some Kirko. I hope he does well. I mean, you're right. I
And
think
also-
they should be the favorites in the NFC South.
Should.
That division's
Why not?
terrible, obviously, but
Baker's coming back,
Yeah,
and he
that's true.
got to keep Mike Evans.
Yeah.
So most
Yep.
people thought Mike would be gone. So
Yep.
it's not like they're awful, but yeah, I think they should probably be the bet. Assuming Kirk's healthy,
yeah,
Mhm.
sure.
they should be the betting favorite in the South.
Yep. Yeah. So, guys, I'll be honest. I was so locked in on conference tournaments that I was just kind of scrolling through Instagram and I was like, oh, because Adam Schefter's just breaking stuff. I'm like, oh, did NFL free agency start today? Yeah, it did. Because
Yes, it
not
did.
only did we have the 2 big quarterback moves, we have Steelers country, let's smelt or let's steal. We'll workshop that.
It's gonna be. I want it to be just. I want whatever his phrase is to be just enough to let me know that he skims the Wikipedia page for Pittsburgh
Mm.
and nothing else. I want him to be like, yeah, Heinz Field.
I can't wait for the Heinz commercial with his with Russell and his Danger Witch.
He's going to pronounce it Carnegie because he saw a YouTube video
Oh.
about how Pittsburgh
Oh.
natives pronounce it, and then that's the only thing he's going to get right about Pittsburgh.
Which
He's going to
and-
ask.
and
He's going to.
even that's
He's going to go to.
wrong.
He's going to go to Primanti Brothers and ask for his fries on the side. That's how it's going to be.
Oh boy. That's going to be, we were talking about this before we started the show. If you watch on YouTube, then you heard Josh and I's conversation. If you're just a podcast listener, that's fine because I'm about to tell you what it is, but you can catch this show on YouTube if you like live or replay. Anyways, we were talking that maybe this will go horribly for Pittsburgh. Maybe it won't. I think it'll be okay. I don't think it
It's gonna
actually
be- we're
changes
gonna
the
go
status
from-
quo that much.
It's going to go from 10-7 to 9-8. That's. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the worst that could happen.
Yeah. But it will be absolutely hilarious.
Yes.
And
It's
that's what
gonna
I'm
be-
excited for.
It's gonna
In
be
fairness to
one-
Pittsburgh, no risk.
Yeah.
No
There's
risk.
no
This is-
risk.
this
Like
is a-
they give out nothing.
Yes.
This is
Where at
nothing.
least I in comparison to Justin Fields, you would have at least probably had to give up a 2nd-round pick.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Like I'm sure that's the bare minimum, pun not intended
Got
there,
him.
that they will even start a negotiation with.
Yeah.
You probably have to open with a 2nd-round pick at
Mhm.
least for them to take you seriously. So
So you get
in comparison, this is really
you
like
get a guy with Super Bowl
Yeah.
experience.
mhm.
So he's technically Super Bowl talent. Whether or not that's current, he at least has something there for rookie prices, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, there is nothing to lose. But the
Yep.
concern is this is basically I got to see who's coming up in the draft. This seems to be like we're just going to wait until next year's draft kind of move.
Sure. Because
It-
am I
it's-
wrong? They actually like extended Kenny Pickett's contract. Is that correct? Or am I?
I believe they
But they just
did.
picked up the option.
Yeah.
I think they
yeah,
just picked up the option.
okay.
It wasn't
they
anything
just
crazy.
picked up the
Yeah.
5th year. That makes sense to do most
Right.
of the
Yeah,
time
which is
anyway.
totally fine to do. And
Well, my question with the
I think it was
Steelers,
not that either one. It's not that we even saw Kenny get developed well,
right?
and so
Yeah.
there's again, I think there's a backdoor chance that we see Pickett come into his own a little bit more. Again, I don't know if I'm going to franchise tag this guy, but if he's enough to get us above 500 for a few years until someone comes along the pipeline, but with a solid group of quarterbacks what seemed to be in this. I was watching a little bit of the combine with a pretty solid group of quarterbacks. Like, why not go for a chance? But oh well.
I wouldn't be surprised if they took someone late, but we're talking 5th round pick probably.
Yeah. Right. Listen, maybe they can get their own Mr. Irrelevant.
The problem with the Steelers, in my opinion, with this pickup, and again, I have no major issue with it, is the main weakness of the team is the offensive line right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. So while Russell is mobile, like I know stylistically he has been in his career, but we just talked about he's 36. Like, and Russell can't just sit in the pocket and throw the ball either.
No.
So I get it. But you do wonder, and Sean Payton didn't want him playing off script either. So I'm sure with Arthur Smith, we'll see a lot more of Russ, like kind of running around old Russ, trying to make things happen off script. But old quarterback, bad offensive line is usually not a recipe for success. And that doesn't mean the Steelers are only going to win 5 games this year. But what's the goal here if you're Pittsburgh? To win a playoff game?
I was going to say, this feels like, we're going to get out of the playoff
ceiling
round, or the wild card rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
My opinion.
The absolute ceiling is not conference championship. It is let's keep the Mike Tomlin streak alive for at least one more year while we figure out what's going on, which seems to have been the MO ever since we started seeing the decline of Roethlisberger. At this point, feels like 7 or 8 years ago.
And I'll give the Steelers this. I think getting Russell gives you a chance to win the wild card round.
Yeah,
but I think that's literally it. I think that's literally your
the expectations
ceiling.
Need to be,
and that's not acceptable for Steelers.
This doesn't feel like an
fans,
aggressive
really.
move. Yeah, this is not like this is the second winningest franchise in the league. This is not a team that squeaks into the playoffs and we're happy with that. That's not the expectation of this team. There's too much history. There's too much heritage with this. This is not an aggressive, we're trying to win move. This is a let's see what happens move, which is not the MO.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Way to burn the rest of Watt's prime years.
Yeah, probably. Other positions. Saquon Barkley drawing all kinds of interest.
Yeah.
Because not only is he one of the best running backs in the game, but it's also where he went. He went from the New York Giants to division rival Philadelphia. Tiki Barber immediately sounding off, says basically you're dead to me, which is now going to be a meme. Can't wait for that. But Saquon on the Philadelphia Eagles now, all of a sudden it's like, whew, because the Eagles kind of rough ending. We all saw how that went, right? But now you add Saquon in the fold, and one of the best running teams just got that much better, assuming he can stay healthy. And for the most part, he did, relatively speaking, this year. So that's happening. The Giants, I don't know what you do if you're a Giants fan. I don't know.
Pray.
I don't know.
More chicken cutlets.
Pray.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're not going to have a good product on the field, you may as well have a fun product on the field.
It will not be
Get him
fun.
back. Get DeVito back.
Yeah. Yes.
Franchise tag him. Come on. You won't.
Yeah. Bet. The boys said you wouldn't. So that's happening. Johnny, for your Cincinnati Bengals, T. Higgins has requested a trade. So that's kind of a big deal because speaking of franchise tag, that's a whole thing.
Yep. So he got tagged. Like that was expected by everyone. And I think most of our audience follows the NFL fairly closely. But if you don't, being tagged does not automatically mean that the team and the player will not get a deal done. Sometimes, so the tag deadline comes up well before your deadline to get a contract done. So many times teams will just preliminarily tag their player and continue negotiating. And so I think that's what most Bengals fans were hoping what was happening. Clearly it hasn't been. The reality is, after Joe Burrow's extension last year and the looming extension for Jamar Chase, T. Higgins was always going to be a cap casualty based on what he was asking. He's asking pretty much for wide receiver one money. At least that's what's being reported. the reality is the Bengals just can't do that. Can they? Technically, yes, but you cannot afford to put that much money into your wide receiving room when you have the history Aaron mentioned earlier of Joe Burrow getting hurt, when you have many other needs, both on the offensive and defensive lines. The Bengals lost one of their best corners today in Awuzie to free agency. Like, you have many other needs. Kansas City's in this situation now too. Like, part of the reason they were willing to, basically have an exodus out of the wide receiver room in general was because Mahomes' contract started going into play and they were paying Travis Kelce already. And that was it. Like, you couldn't afford to just keep paying everyone. And so that's why most of their defensive players are all draft picks, other than like Chris Jones. Like, they're young, recent draft picks. So you're going to see that a lot with the Bengals. You're going to see that a lot with like the Bills and actually even the Eagles coming up once that Jalen Hurts contract. Any team that has that gigantic contract that they just signed with their quarterback, you're going to start seeing that, like, man, why are we playing this, 22-year-old kid out of South Florida? Like, he played for the South Florida Bulls like last year. He's a rookie. He's like, well, because our starting cornerback got hurt week 3, and this is all we got. This is all we can afford. Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, all will be dealing with this in the coming years. I'm sad because he likes Cincinnati. Like, he's great with Joe Burrow, but I think that's just the reality. As a fan, it's a weird dynamic right now. Part of me thinks, hey, we have the team that could win a Super Bowl this year. I don't think that's unrealistic to think. And so let's tag him. Let's leave the tag on him and go for it. Another part of me thinks, well, we might even be able to get a low first-round pick for him. The draft's coming up. Should we deal him? Teams that have already kind of been thought of already is a team like Carolina, who's desperate for a wide receiver one who needs to help out their young quarterback in Bryce Young. That makes all the sense in the world to me. They are desperate, and they have the first pick of the second round, and so that would be a somewhat realistic and likely solution for both parties. So that one makes sense to me. People throw out the Kansas City Chiefs. I can promise you guys, like, there's no way the Bengals are trading to the Chiefs right now. Like, that's just not happening. That will never happen. That's not happening. Titans have been talked about. Like, so there's a lot of teams. I think they'd like to send them over to the NFC if they have to trade them. I would expect, knowing the Bengals front office as a fan for my whole life, that this tag is going to stay on T, and they're going to play the season out and risk getting nothing for him at the end of it. So if you're T Higgins, a tag's not the end of the world. Like, it is actually a lot of money. Yeah. And since he is just coming off his rookie deal, he's not going to barring a devastating injury, which of course nobody would ever wish upon anyone, he's still going to get paid after this year. So if you're T, you're getting a great 1-year salary, because that's what that tag is. It's high market value for that 1 year, and he'll still get paid by someone like Carolina next year. So it's an interesting dynamic. I don't think it's as insane as people think, because they want to make it sound like the Chiefs have a chance to get them. And I think if the Bengals get that phone call, I think if Tobin gets that phone call, he just hangs up. So yeah, from Kansas City. So
yeah, agreed. All right. Well, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The bad news is I do not have, or maybe this is good news as well. I'll call it bad news. The bad news is that I don't have bad baseball trivia today. So womp womp. No bad trivia. The good news is it's because
I'm not going to randomly guess the correct answer this time.
Sorry, Josh. You know what? All right, forget it. I've got it. Who am I kidding? All right, quick. Was Josh, pick a team. Pick a baseball team.
Let's do Diamondbacks.
All right. Were the Diamondbacks better than or worse than league average in win percentage when leading after 6 innings last season? This is our good friend Brooks Gate.
After
After 6 innings, was their MLB win percentage better than or worse than league average? League average is 86%.
Am I answering this too?
Yeah, sure.
And is it only regular season?
This is only regular season.
Interesting.
Okay. I'm still going to say over.
Okay.
I'll go under.
It is close. They are hovering at what appears to be, because it's not, I don't actually have the numbers, it's just a nice looking graph. The Diamondbacks are just over league average. Looks about 87.5%, and league average is at 86. So they're about average. Now, here's, there's no way you guys would guess this. There's one team on here that is in first place at 94%.
Whoa.
And it makes absolutely no sense why this team would be here. And it's the Boston Red Sox.
What?
Yeah. Finished dead last in the American League East.
What?
Apparently, after, and
when
I'd have
they're
to look
on,
through like their bullpen, but
they're
apparently
on.
their 7th, 8th, 9th inning guys lockdown. They would just get beat 10-0 in the 5th innings 1 through 6.
If they were losing, they're losing. If they're winning, they're winning.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
The team in the very bottom is not as surprising. That's the Colorado Rockies, 67%. I mean, for reference, that is horrific. And now, I get it. That's the Coors Field effect where there's just a lot of offense. But that's horrific. 67% because the next worst team is the Oakland Athletics at 77%. There's like a 10% difference. And the Athletics are just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Historically terrible.
Reds were actually below average, which
That's
having watched those games, that's
Yeah.
believable just because it's the Reds. But also, they had so many come from behind wins that don't count because they weren't leading heading into the
Right.
7th. So anyways, we'll see if that changes this year. They were actually one of the worst teams in that category. The Boston Red Sox, I don't know how they got up there, but the other teams are not a surprise. Like you've got the Orioles, Dodgers, Astros, Tampa Bay, Philly, the Braves. The Tigers are actually up there. That's a bit of a surprise, but I mean, they had a better season. So anyways, that wasn't really trivia. I guess it kind of was, but all right. So that was the bad news. The bad news is that you got to hear bad baseball trivia. The good news is the reason why we're not doing a full-fledged bad baseball trivia is because by the time that next episode comes out, there will be actual regular season Major League Baseball in the books, which we love. It's baseball season, so we're here to break it down just a
Baseball
little bit.
o'clock. Let's go.
It's baseball o'clock. In the year of our baseball o'clock, Lord Baseball. I think, no. Anyways, if you want a really like in-depth preview, our baseball preview magazine should be out by the time this episode comes out. If it's not, it's going to be there real soon. It's on our website. We'll obviously be posting about it, so keep your eyes out there. That's in-depth. We've got in-depth previews for all 30 teams. We've got articles. We've got prospects to watch. Like if you are a baseball nerd, it's a great source for you. If you're someone that's not a baseball nerd, but you're trying to get more into baseball, I think it's actually also a good resource because we've got articles in there that talk about here's how the minor league baseball system works, or here's these stats that you might see on a score bug at either at a baseball game or watching a game. Like what the heck is WAR other than a card game or just actual WAR? What is on base percentage? What is slugging percentage? What is OPS? All that stuff we explain in the magazine. So it's kind of it's really intended for any baseball fan. If you're a nerd, you're going to like it because we get into nerdy stuff. If you're not a nerd, it's all right because we explain stuff too. Today, though, I do want to cover just some topics going into this year because we really didn't spend a lot of time on this show talking about anything that happened this offseason. And so I'll start with something that's kind of been the talk of the offseason, and they are the team that plays first this year. And that is the Los Angeles Dodgers, who spent over $1 billion this offseason. Billion with a B. Billion. Now, it's a little funky, and if you're a baseball fan, you already know this deferred contract thing with Shohei Ohtani. I'm not going to bore you with the details, even if you don't know what's going on. In any case, the Los Angeles Dodgers spent a ton of money, and they are the odds-on favorites to win the World Series. They brought in Shohei Ohtani. They brought in another pitcher from Japan, Yamamoto. They brought in a pitcher, Tyler Glasnow, from the Tampa Bay Rays. They added a bunch of other people, too. It's just wild to see what the Dodgers have done spending wise. When you have a team like the Athletics, whose ownership is cheap, and not even trying to field a competitive team, trying to move the team out of Oakland. And I mean, that situation's rough. And then you compare it to the Dodgers, and it's, whew. Yeah. So that's happening. But guys, thoughts on the Dodgers? Thoughts on basically the biggest baseball spending spree we've ever seen?
Hope it works out.
Yeah, can't wait for
This
the
is-
86 and 78, 74, however the math works, Cincinnati Reds to beat him in the NLDS with the power of friendship.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the thing we saw with the Rangers and the Diamondbacks
Yes.
shocking the world because it is the
Orioles.
World Series, shocking the world. Yeah, shocking the Orioles. Yeah, the Rangers over Orioles was not in anybody's prediction, especially in the way they did it. This is so it better work out because they're on the hook for the next 30 plus years.
Yeah.
This is a very costly investment. And now again, they're going for glory. Again, we were just talking about how the Steelers weren't making aggressive moves. This is probably one of the most aggressive moves you could make. Putting yourself into 35 plus years of debt.
Yeah.
In order
I know
to
Ohtani can't even pitch this year.
Correct.
Exactly. So this is the go for the glory. It theoretically this should work out a lot better than his time in the Angels.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a shocker to say that the Dodgers are probably a better run organization.
Oh my.
And so
Yeah.
I
Josh, but
think-
you're right. In recent history, though, the high spenders aren't doing well.
right.
Yeah.
Like the team that I shouldn't say the high spenders, the teams that go out in one off season and basically try to purchase a World Series title. We're looking at you, New York Mets from last year. The Padres, too, not as poor of an outcome, also have attempted to do so. And listen, like what you said, Josh, this is not like us poo-pooing like, oh, this is stupid. Like you shouldn't. No, this is great. Go for it. That's what every fan asks for, is for their team to go for it. Obviously, not every franchise is even capable of spending this amount of money. That's okay. Like as a Reds fan, I'm not asking the Reds to go spend $1 billion. I'm not. But I do want them to be willing to go out and spend another 50 to make sure that the bullpen is fully staffed with the equivalent talent for success. Like, and I think that's what most rational fans would hope for. For the Dodgers, their equivalent is this. This is them going for it. And because they're so well run, because they've had such a good farm system, and because they've had so much sustained success before this, I think is why everybody's expecting great things, including myself, where the Mets had not been doing anything and just tried to purchase basically mercenaries to win last year. And that blew up at the trade before the trade deadline. The Padres just trying to purchase, victories. And listen, they've had moderate success. So I don't want to completely and I love that the Padres went for it. That was great. But for it to work, I mean, we've seen the Yankees really struggle recently as well. For it to work, there has to still be that culture base already and some farm and grassroots players mixed in. It can't, we've seen this in college football. You can't just NIL your way in the transfer portal to consistent success. It just doesn't happen. Can you plug some holes in places? Can you get key contributors in certain position groups? Of course, but you can't go out and just never recruit, never get guys in your system and develop them yourself, and only just pick out from other teams and pick them off in the transfer portal. It just won't work. Maybe you get a one-year wonder, but then it'll go away very quickly. So I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Oh, it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it looks like. It because it's not just, I know you got the big names and Kershaw's back again, right, Aaron? And
yeah, at some point, yes. Yep.
Right. It's cool. It's cool. I'm fascinated. And I don't think there's this hatred for the Dodgers as there is for maybe the Yankees or Red Sox or, of course, the Astros.
Yeah.
I think most people are more fascinated and interested to see what this looks like. Now, come back to me in 2 years if they've won the last 2 World Series and ask me if the hatred for them is still very minimal.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Because had they not fallen on their face last year, this is probably a different discussion. And if we're sitting here at the end of the year and the Oakland Athletics have like 49 wins and the Los Angeles Dodgers have 120, then we also have conversations, and that's kind of why I brought those two teams up, because it's just a wild comparison between two teams in the same division. Then we're going to have conversations of, okay, do we need a salary cap? What do we need to do? And look, this is a unique, and maybe we do. I don't think I'm opposed. Certainly, I think that might be helpful. But even then, there hasn't been a repeat champion in a long time. You've actually seen some smaller markets win the World Series. Now, it comes at the expense of then falling off a cliff. See the Kansas City Royals, who have made,
because you have to go all in,
2 postseasons in the last 36 years. Now, both times they made it to the World Series and they won one of them. So it's kind of the question of, like, the hypothetical question you might ask your buddy on a Tuesday night. Hey, if you could win a championship, but you're not going to be able to go to the postseason for the next 20 years. I'm guessing probably 99% of people are saying, sign me up.
Go for it.
And that's been reality for Kansas City. Washington, D.C. they've been willing to spend a little bit more money, but same thing. 2019 World Series, guess where they've finished in the NL East every single season since? Dead last. Dead last, including 100 plus losses in 2022.
Now, that also doesn't help when your ace pitcher also just dies on you, basically, in Steven Strasburg, who you spent over $200 million to keep. Like,
not a massive help.
Yeah, doesn't help. But yeah, you have to go, Aaron, to your point, you have to go all in. So who are those teams this year when it comes to, like, and honestly, more than a cap ceiling, I'm more in favor in baseball, more than anything, of just getting a cap floor. Which I know you're not getting one without the other, but like the NFL, like those, we've talked about this before.
You might. I think you could. I think you could get one.
I think most of the time you're going to get both of them. You're not going to get one. But like in the NFL, the owners can't just, everybody always talks about the Bengals being cheap. And I get it. They're not as cheap as people make it sound. But part of that might be because there is a amount that they have to spend on their roster every year. You have to spend a certain amount. You can't just be cheap for cheap's sake like you can in baseball. Anyway, who are those teams this year? Josh, Aaron, the Orioles, to me, like, I'm not saying that this is their last year. They have to go all in. But, and a lot of this has to do with what are their rivals in their division doing? How open does the playoff picture look? Are you willing to mortgage some of those young prospects to go all in for the World Series this year? Because that window for the Orioles will close quicker than people think. It always does for those smaller market teams who don't spend a lot. So I would think the Orioles are on that for me. Maybe the Blue Jays. Even the Blue Jays are on there. They're not like some low spending team, but I wouldn't be shocked to see the Blue Jays. I know it's the same division, but them like kind of go for it depending on how their season's going. Anybody you guys think of?
I don't know if I have any additional teams to add there, but I do think the Blue Jays is a really interesting example. Not because of like unwillingness to spend money, but because the players they do want to spend money have not gone there. Like they were, and by they, I mean their fans on Twitter, they were fully convinced that Shohei Ohtani was on a flight to Toronto. He was there to save the day. And turns out he was never on that flight. He was probably the Dodgers all the way. He was very kind of hush-hush as far as his free agency. And he got some unnecessary hate for that. I think Shohei Ohtani is a fantastic guy. He's always been kind of under the radar. There were some writers that were mad, I think probably because they couldn't do their job. So I get it. But they were mad that like, he's selfish to not want to talk about free agency. I'm like, this is literally his deal. He can do whatever he wants. I don't care.
Y'all remember
More
the-
dog content, please. Thank
Y'all
you.
remember The Decision?
Yeah.
How well that went?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Let's do honestly. The opposite is okay.
Yes. Yes.
No,
it
how
is.
dare he, Josh?
I
Let's
love this
give
guy.
an
No, you're
excellent-
right. Let's give him a 60-minute special where they don't talk about anything of note for the first 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It's an excellent point, Josh.
He is so
An
low
excellent
key that
point.
while he was at
I'm
spring
taking my
training,
talents to the same beach.
yes.
That's
He-
also
I take
like
it back. He should have done the decision.
Yeah, you're right.
like part of that
Brilliant.
also is like a misunderstanding, I think, of Japanese culture too.
Yes.
Not to like stereotype, like it's actually like a very like respectful culture in that sense of like not trying to bring all of this
Yep.
not purposefully trying to add attention onto oneself for
Mhm.
yourself's sake, which is what this would be
Yeah.
for him to just go out of his way to always be talking about his free agency. Like that's just that's not really respected in that culture. So it's also like I think people also have to remember like where he's from, like what his culture is, and like he has more fans in Japan probably than he does here. Probably cares a lot more about what they think than what we
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, like he's not LeBron. He's not from the
No.
projects in Akron, Ohio. Like very, very different.
Yeah, doesn't use as many emojis in his Instagram captions.
No cryptic tweets here.
But I will say it's funny because I think he just announced he was going to the Dodgers on Instagram, I think, right? I'm pretty sure. At least that's where I saw it. And then this
Mhm.
week he's at spring training and the Instagram post comes up, "Hey guys, just wanted to let everyone know I got married." I'm like, this is the
Married.
most wholesome guy ever.
Hey guys,
I
thanks for
love
following
Otani.
me.
He's
Yeah.
a
Very-
normal guy. He posts once,
He's a guy.
usually one time a year on Instagram.
Yeah.
And usually that includes marriage or new job. Well, he
It's
had
the-
both
yeah,
of those
no,
things, so he
I'm-
posted both. Like so
I'm
twice in 1
drafting-
year.
And he got
Yeah,
a new
I'm
dog.
Yes.
I'm drafting my graduation, my one graduation.
Yeah.
There you go.
Instagram
That's
post,
acceptable.
Yes.
Good.
And then I'm
Josh.
not going to post again until I get married. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Graduation's on the list. Acceptable. Very
Graduation,
good.
new job. I'm combining those.
Mm.
So I'm not
Oh,
doing two.
great. It's
Graduation,
Nice.
new job, which already
Excellent.
happened in November. But like, I may as at this point, I may as well just wait.
Yeah. You're within
Yeah.
the 1 year window.
I'm within the 1 year. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got to do it once. So
very
yeah.
good. A move is also acceptable.
Mm.
A move is also acceptable, but
Usually
they,
it goes with a
they're gonna-
job, but you
see,
know.
what I'm hoping is that they're going to gather that my graduation and job is going to assume that I would have in fact moved.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm going to
Yes.
let them do a little bit of the work on this.
Yeah. They can be the investigative reporters. You don't need
The
to do
them
that.
being my massive viewer base, obviously.
Yeah.
What I heard from the reporters when they were complaining was this is lazy. Like y'all just aren't trying hard
Uh-huh.
enough. Like you want him to come and talk to you about his free agency.
No.
How about you do some digging?
I want-
do some research, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Find his
want,
buddies in
like,
Japan that'll
a-
spill the beans.
Yeah.
And
I want like
They
a Mark
probably don't
Ruffalo
exist,
style,
but
like
try.
journalism movie. Like I want like a spotlight level of like research done.
Mm.
Like put the work in.
yeah. Make a documentary about it. Even if you're not
Exactly.
successful, everyone loves a good documentary about stuff.
Say, how about this? How about this? 4D chess.
Mm.
Find some evidence. Make it say the wrong thing. Force his hands to come out with a
Ooh.
with a correction.
Yep.
See, that would have at least taken more effort. I would have
See?
respected the effort.
See, like say that all the evidence, like have like pay off Adam Schefter or something. This is how you do business. It's
Mm.
through
Oh, you don't
fraud.
have to pay him to tweet incorrect things.
Just ask Adam
Hey, by the
Schefter
way-
to say Shohei Otani retired.
He won't even ask to make sure. Like he won't double check. He'll
Yeah.
just tweet it.
Just be like, hi,
Sources.
my name is Sources.
Yeah.
Sources at tmz.com.
Oh,
Hey, by
man.
the way, I heard that Otani Blue Jays
Yep.
happening tomorrow
Yeah. Or he's retiring.
or retiring.
Yeah.
Both for a 1-year contract, his final.
Yes.
Oh, no.
If he
Goodbye
doesn't, if
tour
he doesn't
from
win the
Toronto.
World Series this year, he's quitting.
He'll go to a bigger market.
Yeah.
What's the what's
Which
the
is
one
just
thing?
Japan again, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd have to go
yeah,
back
maybe
to
fun there.
Tokyo to
Yep.
beat.
No,
You have what's the
LA.
one office episode where Michael Scott just makes up like 15 rumors and like
Oh yeah.
try and cover up the
Yes.
one.
the
I just want
that's
that.
actually true.
I
Yes.
want, just have Adam Schefter like put out like 15 rumors about Otani, but one of them's true.
Mm.
And it's the dog. It's the most innocuous one.
Yeah,
It's the dog.
It's his dog. I love it. I'm so curious to see how this is going to work with the Dodgers. For now, I'm not like rooting for them to lose every game they play. Also, that's dumb because they're going to win most of the games they play.
They're going to be fine.
Yes.
They better be fine. Yeah.
I will also say this. If the Dodgers win, and I think I've got them projected like 107, 108, like high hundreds, and then lose in the wild card round,
Oof.
just you wait. And maybe that will be fair. Maybe this will be a fair discussion, but just you wait for the conversation of, okay, this wild card system that we have now really truly punishes the teams that get the bye.
It was already, I mean, it's already been a massive discussion.
Yeah.
Like,
And certainly.
so it'll be even more like, it'll be like, we need to change it
Next
during the
Add
next
another
season.
add another playoff
year.
team.
Yeah.
That'll be what they do. They're not shrinking the playoffs.
Yes.
Play, two more
They'll
playing series.
expand the playoffs to make sure that they don't have a bye.
Yeah.
You guys play into February now.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Only domes.
Oh boy.
No. Boo.
No, we need less Tropicana Field, more PNC Park.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's play in Pittsburgh in January.
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
I love it. Baseball in January sounds great to me, by the way. Although there's some domes that are good, but for the most part, just outside it. Snow is fine.
It's fine. Listen, you're gonna get hot. It's summer.
You can
Deal
grip
with
a
it.
baseball when it's snowing. Now you'll swing the bat and how many bones are in the body?
Die.
200? Every single
Like
one of them?
216.
216? Yeah. You swing the bat, make just the slightest bit of contact, and all 216 of your bones start just
Gone.
vibrating.
I was gonna say, I'm like, you think, oh man, you think getting hit in the shin hurts
Yeah.
in July?
Full Tom and Jerry cartoon, like getting hit, and you just
Youch. Yeah, the egg on the head. Like,
yeah. All right. Well, we've solved baseball yet again. We didn't really even talk about
Congratulations.
what teams we think are going to be good or bad. That's okay.
I'm interested in two teams. One, I
Yeah.
want to see what the Angels are gonna do, because we've
you
talked a
do?
lot about,
Bad things.
but they here's the thing.
don't.
Here's the thing. They still have Trout, and they signed a crap ton of bullpen guys. We got Robert Stevenson, Matt Moore, Luis Garcia, Adam Clymer. They have a new manager in Ron Washington.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
love
not
Ron
going to
Ron
be a great.
Washington?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not
wow.
going to.
He's back.
So yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm not. They're not going to be great.
Josh, I think they're going to be
They're
terrible.
not going to be great.
Oh, they will.
I think
be
they're
bad.
gonna
I
be
just want to
bad.
see. I want to see though.
I hope I'm
I
wrong.
don't
so
think Mike
interested.
Trout even cares about winning. Like,
Nah.
No.
like it's just no. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah.
And two, this is probably the last year. Again, I'm looking at bubble teams. I'm very interested.
Hmm.
This is probably the last year the Guardians will have a fighting chance before they need to completely reset and have their
No.
rebuilding phase again.
Josh, you don't realize they have 5 more young pitchers that could be starting right now
I'm if they want
in Columbus. They're just waiting.
Oh, that team kills me. I don't know what to make with this team because I think pitching will be decent again.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to hit outside of Jose Ramirez.
No.
They just can't actually hit home runs. They get on base like crazy.
Yeah.
They can't drive anybody in.
No.
So,
I mean, obviously, twins are probably going to be the assumed,
yeah.
but the Tigers are bulking.
Yes. I like
I'm
the
trying to remember,
Tigers.
but I know that even the Royals made a move. I'm trying to remember what they did.
Yeah, they signed
Something.
Bobby Witt Jr. to a lot of money. We talked about
Oh.
them like not spending a lot of money. Well, they spent money. That's like one of the highest, if not for the Dodgers, that contract would be the biggest in baseball, I think, this year.
Yeah. So even the Royals are doing something, and the Guardians have
Power of friendship.
power of friendship. Ramirez, woo!
I mean, Jose is great,
I mean, great. No, yeah,
but
fantastic.
you need 8
And-
other players.
and yeah, it turns
Yeah.
out you got to fill the team.
You need
Not if
you
you have
need
friendship.
other people to have the friendship, to have the power of friendship.
Yeah, you can't have. Yeah, the
Yeah.
power of friendship doesn't just happen. You have to make it happen.
hmm I'll say a couple teams just real quick, and then Johnny, if you've got a couple teams real quick, then I know we actually need to make picks and the usual stuff. But a couple teams I think I'm kind of down on this year. One is the Miami Marlins. They made the postseason last year. They were, I believe, the last wild card team to get in. They got swept. I think they're taking a step back. They did sign shortstop Tim Anderson. He's been good in the past, but I have a hard time seeing Luis Arias hitting 354 again. And I've got some questions about their starting pitching. Alcantara is out for a while. I think actually the whole season. So there's some questions there. I think that's a team that's going to take a backward step. I think they're going to go from a wild card team to a team that is a few games under 500. You're also in the same division as the Braves, who are, again, going to be very good. The Phillies, who have always been good, especially in the postseason. The New York Mets, I think a lot of people are assuming they're going to be down just by virtue of who they lost. And Johnny, you mentioned it. They spent a lot of money. It did not work. And so they're kind of rebuilding, but there's also enough there that I don't think they're just going to be bad. I think they're more of a 500 team. So needless to say, I think the Miami Marlins are going to be a team that's down. I think the Tampa Bay Rays, both Florida teams, are actually going to be down. And I know that's risky business saying the Tampa Bay Rays are going to have a down year, because when you usually say those words, they then have a 100-win season. And while they don't usually make it to the World Series, they at least prove you wrong, win a division, grow these pitchers that have sliders that cut 3 feet horizontally or something stupid. They grow them on trees out there. I don't know how. But I think this is finally the year that they take a step back. Also, just because they kind of got beat up by other teams in the offseason, right? Like Tyler Glasnow, who I know was never healthy for them, but he's going to be the opening day starter for the Los Angeles Dodgers when they play in South Korea in a week. They just announced that. He's going to be their top starter. They... Like Shane McClanahan, I think he is out. I believe Shane Baz is still coming back from Tommy John. So like starting pitching's a big deal there. So I'm a little worried about them. If you look in the division, the Yankees got a whole lot better when they added Juan Soto. The Orioles are still good. The Red Sox, even though they were last in the division, were still like not bad, right? Like they would have maybe won the the AL Central had they been in that division. So those are two teams I'm down on. I think the Reds are actually going to be kind of good, and I'm not saying that as a fan because if you've listened to this show, you know we're usually pretty pessimistic. I think the Reds make the postseason. But I think the Chicago Cubs are the team that win the division. I think they win the NL Central. Them re-signing Cody Bellinger, that is a big deal. He had a great year. They've added some really nice pieces in Chicago. I think this is the year they put it all together. I think they win a division. I think they could be very dangerous. That could be a power of friendship team to beat the Dodgers. So I like the Cubs. I like the Reds. I do like the Tigers. I think the Tigers will actually make a push to, I'm not going to say win the division, but I think they'll make a push against the Twins, could sneak into a wild card spot, maybe. But that's hard seeing how good the AL East is. But those are the teams I'm hot, not on. And if you want more of my thoughts, again, Baseball Magazine coming out just in a couple days. Johnny, any teams that you're hot on, not on?
I already mentioned the Blue Jays.
Yep.
Love the Orioles in that division, but I think the Blue Jays and Orioles, I think that'll be actually a really fun race in the AL East. You also mentioned the Yankees, Aaron. I think that's a 3-headed monster in that division.
Yeah.
Would not be surprised if you saw all 3 of them in the postseason. And then I think this is the year the Mariners fully take control of the AL West.
Ooh.
Wrestle it away from Houston.
Wow.
So the Mariners would be my kind of, and see, I'm not mentioning any teams out of nowhere either. So we're kind of not playing exactly by the rules, but the Rangers had a really good year last year too. So that is obviously a difficult division despite, the A's just being hot garbage. So I think this is the year that Houston finally starts to slip. And I think they don't even make the postseason this year.
Wow. So, ooh,
give it to the Mariners.
Ooh, I like it. I will say this is an interesting year for Houston. This is a contract year, I believe, for Alex Bregman, new manager because Dusty Baker retired.
Mm-hmm. Verlander's hurt already.
Yep. Yeah, okay. I mean, you'd hate to see that happen.
Well, it'd be terrible, especially with the most likable person in the dugout gone and Dusty Baker. Yeah. You would hate to see them struggle without him now.
Yeah. Oh boy, wouldn't that just be a bummer? The Astros being
terrible
bad for a change. Oh man.
Oh please.
All right.
Please.
Yep. All right. Well, more baseball because
I can't afford the Rangers Astros tickets any other way. Please.
True. One of them needs to be bad. Yeah. All right. You guys good for picks of the week?
Let's do it.
All right, sweet. All right, Josh, good news. We talked about it last week. You and I have some work to do to catch up to Johnny. You took the first step because last week we each picked a conference champion. Now, Johnny and I still may get our points TBD because those tournaments finished this week. But Josh, the Drake Bulldogs, winners of Arch Madness. Yep. So
it was a difficult game too.
Yeah, it was.
You picked maybe the toughest conference out of all of them.
This was listen, and I did not feel that tension because first off, dumb. Two, my system is foolproof.
You were going to pick Bradley before you were going to pick Indiana State in that conference. So yeah, close. Of course there was no pressure.
Josh, I feel like your pick there, and it worked. I'm so happy. It was the equivalent of the people on Twitter that make the jokes of like a guy that I met on the street tried to hand me $1 million. I said, no, I'm only taking 5 because I'm about to grind. That's basically what you did with your pick. Yeah. And it worked. So
yeah, I don't want these. Listen, if I'm going to earn this foot-long cookie,
yeah,
I'm going to earn it. I'm not going to just go pick safe picks. Oh, I really think that
Vermont,
Purdue might do well. Yeah, I'm
they've
not
won
going to do
every
this.
Year.
Hey, keep Vermont out of your mouth.
I love Vermont. I say that with respect.
Catamounts.
Yeah, man. America East Championship Saturday. But
listen,
yes,
if I'm not sweating, I'm not earning.
Yeah, that's right. You tell them.
Hey, the way the favorites have been dropping like flies, I'm nervous. I'm worried.
Yeah, that's true. We have not. I'm trying to think. We haven't had a 1 seed win a conference championship yet. Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's going to be a really
not that there's been a lot of finals yet.
Yeah, I think only 4, right? But still.
Yeah.
But still, it's going to be, it's going to be a fun March.
With what happened in the Sun Belt, we are 0 for 5. And 0 for 6, because no, that's not true. Horizon's still there. I take it all back. 0 for 5. Yeah, so that means our current scoreboard. Yeah, that is sad. Current scoreboard, Johnny with 7. I've got 5. Josh has 3. Johnny and I do have points available. We'll report back to you next week with what happens in the Patriot and the America East tournament. This week, I mentioned it, baseball. We are picking the South Korea series. It is kicking off the Major League Baseball regular season basically a week in advance. So these games are being played on Wednesday, the 20th, and Thursday, the 21st. If you are a morning person, good news. These games start at 6 a.m. Eastern time. So make some plans so you can cancel them. Watch the Los Angeles Dodgers take on the San Diego Padres from South Korea. Should be a lot of fun. So here's what we're doing. Because it's a 2-game series, we're going to pick how the series turns out. I'm going to say the Dodgers get off to as good of a start as people think they will. I'm going to say they sweep the Padres 2-0. They announce starting pitchers. Tyler Glasnow is pitching in game 1. And then in game 2, hang on, I have the wrong tab open. All right, then in game 2, the Dodgers will be pitching Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He became the highest paid pitcher in Major League Baseball. He has never pitched in Major League Baseball. This is a Japanese sensation. That's a whole topic. We could spend an entire podcast episode on what players in Japan have done historically. Now they're all starting, some of the bigger names are starting to play Major League Baseball. Ohtani obviously being one, and he's kind of recruited his friends to the Dodgers. So we'll see how that goes. Needless to say, I think the Dodgers are going to win a ton of games, and I think the Padres, rough offseason for them, kind of expected. Juan Soto, they traded him. Got some actually decent pieces for him in return. We'll see how that works, but I think the Padres are going to be probably below 500, so I'm taking the Dodgers 2-0 in this series.
Well, it's baseball. So this is my recommendation for all of you who enjoy the monopoly money when it comes to sports. Proceed with caution when it comes to betting in baseball. It's worse even than hockey or basketball, where there's so many games. The best team, you guys know this, the best team does not always win every single game.
Yeah.
If the Dodgers win 2 out of 3 in every series, they'll be thrilled how the season goes. So all that being said, Aaron mentioned it, money and friendship on the Dodgers side. Ooh. That seems like an unstoppable combination. Mm-hmm. So I also have the Dodgers winning 2-0. 2-0. They win both games. I'd like to disagree. I don't like agreeing, but I just don't see it any other way.
It'd be really funny if the Padres took both.
Oh, it would be.
Now,
It would be funny.
it's not going to happen. But great team members, great players, still new to feeling like the whole team vibe out. So I'm just going to have them split the series.
Okay. Yeah.
That feels very safe. Feels a little bit funny. Because theoretically, on paper, the Dodgers should have more than enough friendship, much less talent, too.
Right.
It's very reasonable, though, Josh. And
Yeah.
also, who knows what playing in South Korea does to them,
Well,
too.
plus this is
Exactly.
a week
Just-
early, so I mean, I mentioned the starting pitchers, but are they really going to go more than 5 innings? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
it'll like there's a lot of weird variables to this. Like Aaron said, it's the travel, it's all of it.
Yep.
If only Japan was a little closer. I mean, they love their baseball.
We need to work on that.
Yeah, we need.
Can we push it a little bit? Can we just push it east?
just push it a little closer.
Yeah.
We get our big ships, like our big ones, like the big boats, and we just
Would they be
on one
okay
side-
playing neutral site in Hawaii?
Oh,
Oh,
put the Athletics there.
Ooh.
Okay, now I might
Vegas.
be okay with them moving out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Honolulu.
Oh.
Let's do it.
There it is.
I love it. Padres starting Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove, who both decent pitchers. We'll see. Bullpens, it's a big deal. I think both teams get a couple additional roster spots as opposed to when opening day happens on the 28th, I believe, of March. If that's Thursday, then that's the right day I gave you, which I think it is. That's opening day for everybody. All 30 teams expected to be in action there, but we've got a couple of regular season games. It's not like there's some games being played in the Dominican Republic. Maybe that already happened. I can't remember. That's spring training. This is the real deal. So it should be fun. All right. I've got kind of a lamer what we're following, so I can start if you guys want.
Go for it.
All right. We had the Oscars yesterday. Were either of you guys interested in said Oscars?
I was curious to see who would win actor, supporting actor, and what was the other one? Not really. I wasn't honestly interested in this Best Picture. I was just curious. Oh, the original song.
Oppenheimer cleaned up.
Yeah, they did.
They did just fine.
Deservingly so.
Yeah.
I might add.
Shout
I
out
actually watched
to Godzilla -1 for the
Oh my
first
gosh.
being the first Godzilla film to win any award at the Oscars. So
Wow.
How do they keep making those movies? There's like 20 Godzilla movies.
They did,
Like,
listen, how many World War II movies does
honestly, at this point, probably too many. You're right. Probably too many.
this is their
But
World
I
War
will
II
also
movie.
add World War II actually happened. Godzilla and Kong aren't real, Josh.
Godzilla is made. Hold on,
If
Aaron,
we
we're
make
gonna let
enough
you
movies
finish.
about them, the four
Godzilla-
generations from now, we're just gonna just assume it was historical fact.
Godzilla
Oh, no.
is
Oh,
the
no.
way the Japanese processed the bombings. This was them
Oh,
through
my.
art describing how it felt to have 2 bombs dropped on you, atomic bombs specifically. So now don't you feel bad?
Got him. Wow.
Next time only drop 1 bomb and maybe you only get, I don't know, 5 Godzilla movies.
Yikes. Oh,
Oh.
oh
Anyway,
boy.
you said Oscars.
Well, Aaron,
right?
what were you?
You know what? I think this is good. I think we just ended right there. I think this has been a good episode, everyone. It's probably our last. Oh boy. Well, I was gonna do a bad segue into what is your favorite sports movie, because I'll be honest, I'm not following anything other than college basketball. But I will say this. Every year before, we just talked about Major League Baseball, I watch Moneyball, which is, I think, my favorite sports movie.
So good.
I say favorite, but I also have a love-hate relationship with it because I love the movie, but to be this far in the future, or this far past when the book was originally made, when these, because this was like the 2001, 2002 season for the Oakland Athletics, like being now 20 plus years separated from that. It's a mixed emotions because the book, in a way, and the movie, in a small way, led to the downfall of the Athletics, because the spotlight was shown on them saying, hey, every Major League Baseball team, look at what the Athletics are doing with their small resources. And then came the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Rays. Why did I say the Rays? They have no money. That was dumb. The big name teams came along and said, oh, sweet, we'll do the same thing just with more money. And to their credit, the Athletics hung around really until the last few years have just been bad. But they won the division, I think, in 2020. Now, shortened season, I get it, but they won the division. It wasn't that long ago. Anyways, needless to say, there's interesting articles that talk about that book / that movie kind of contributing to the downfall of them. But in any case, I love that movie. I watch it the night before opening day. I just enjoy it. A good cast. But anyways, the question is, after that long monologue, what is your favorite sports movie?
Remember the Titans, probably.
Yeah.
There's something special about Hoosiers that just gives me good nostalgic vibes.
Yep. I think Hoosiers would be my second favorite choice. And it's like, and really it's like 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, very different vibe, not inspirational at all. At least it shouldn't be. Love kicking and screaming.
Oh.
You often don't have the comedy sports movie. But
cool. Well, if we're opening it up to that, Talladega Nights.
That's not a sport, Josh, but
Dodgeball.
I understand.
We've
I like the
Welcome to Chess Head. It's our favorite recent movie.
Now I can say The Incredibles because Dash runs track in that movie. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say it. The Incredibles is my favorite sports movie. The entire premise of the movie is that Dash cannot run track the way he wants to because he's a superhero. That's the entire premise
of the movie.
His whole listen. This is
Aaron. That's less of a sports movie than Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie in the same way the Lord of the Rings trilogy is a Christmas movie because they leave on December 26th.
And Harry Potter.
They leave in late December. They can't leave on Christmas.
Yep.
Ergo, it's the 26th. It's a Christmas movie.
Ergo, The Incredibles, my favorite sports movie.
Therefore, by the transitive property, the all-powerful transitive property.
Yes.
Transitive property only exists in college football and college basketball.
No,
that's
not true.
I'm sorry, all college sports. Only college sports.
And this is a sport, track and
not
field.
College
you're trying to tell me track and field's not a sport, Johnny. That's what you're trying to tell me.
The original you want to go against the Greeks?
Was Dash in college?
What? It doesn't count. Sports
going to grow
up. Collegiate sports only.
What?
Yeah,
collegiate sports only.
Go to college. He's a smart kid.
Yeah.
I'm
sure he probably did run track in college.
Probably. Was he in the movie?
He wasn't in college in the movie.
Not yet.
Exactly.
You can assume,
Kid's like a middle schooler.
So it's not sports?
No, it's not transitive property. It is a sport.
Transitive property. What are college sports if not just more developed high school and middle school sports?
Yep.
You don't run around and then it's a completely different thing by the time you get to college. Turns out it's like it's like, oh, now
none of our listeners would agree that The Incredibles is a sports movie.
Yes, they will. I guarantee you someone's on my side.
It is an excellent superhero movie. Excellent. I'm not bemoaning how good the movie is.
Mr. Incredible probably went to college and he lifts weights in that, and that's Olympic weightlifting.
There is no way that man played a sport in college. He would have murdered someone.
There's a whole
dude would have played
left.
That guy would have played left tackle and would have killed the defensive end. He would have accidentally murdered him because he's too strong.
Fine, Johnny. How about this? You know what my favorite sports movie is? Monsters University.
That's so true. That is a sports movie.
That's a great sports movie.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Don't do that to a good movie like that.
Twitter. If you think Incredibles or Monsters University, actually, I shouldn't say if you think. If you know The Incredibles and Monsters University are sports movies, Let us know on Twitter, and you can even tag Johnny just to let him know how wrong he is.
Please do.
These are good movies too. This is wrong for you
which
guys.
is why
to
they're
do
also
these
great.
good movies.
Yeah.
Sports movies.
Yep. Sports is
This
what
is
makes
honoring
these
to them.
movies so great, arguably, and
Now,
the soundtrack.
Mhm.
Yep.
go ahead, Josh.
This is just a quick thing, and this is only what I'm very lightly following because I do not have enough knowledge to step into this. But my TikTok and Twitter feed have been filled with nothing but "We Done with the '90s" for the past week. And if you've not seen it yet, all of the kids on TikTok went to YouTube because they were tired of hearing about how MJ was the GOAT on the Bulls and hearing how the '96 Bulls was the best team ever to exist in the NBA, and everyone's so soft now. There's no defense. They went to the tape, and they were not impressed with what they saw. And there's a chance. Now, again, I can't say much because I did not go see the tape. I saw a few clips taken out of context. Listen, turns out MJ had every now and then he missed a shot.
He didn't know how to go left.
He
Josh.
did. I was led to
couldn't
believe
go
that he was
left.
perfect.
I
in
was led
every
to
way
believe that he was 96%
and did not have a
field goal
crippling
percentage.
gambling addiction.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That part is correct.
Yes.
That part is it personally. But it turns out when you have the tape, doesn't look quite so good. And these guys are not going to go find random games. They are looking at the entirety of the '96 playoffs. They're looking at game 7. They're looking at the entire '92 Bulls team. This is not just a random thing. Y'all better have some better ammo for why MJ might be the GOAT, because these kids finally went to the tape, like you said, and they are not impressed. So just
looking up employment records, seeing how many of them were actual plumbers and baggers at the local grocery store. They're cooked, man.
You guys are
MJ
cooked.
fans are cooked.
I've been told, do not go to a barbershop for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, because it's just war zones.
Man, now I really want to go to a barbershop and just not get a haircut. I just want to
Right?
sit there.
Just sit. All right. Now what I'm really following, and this is a scandal in my office, so I have to go all the way across campus to grab my conspiracy clock. But it's not a conspiracy. These are interviews. These are hard facts. Texas A&M University. We don't like them. We've established this. They are a cult. They travel with that midnight yell. They've tried to kill Baylor fans, all these things.
Actually, I wouldn't say I hate them. Now, you might be about to tell us why we hate them. I would say they are more amusing than I hate them. But
it's gonna be less than they were always amusing, and now they're evil.
Okay.
Kind of like watching a wild animal. Right?
I don't know what you guys are. How are you guys? Yes. How do you guys feel about spice? Spicy foods?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, is there heat to it? Is it just spice with flavor, or is it just I'm trying to murder all of your taste buds? Because
how about something? How about this? How about something like a jalapeno?
Fine,
Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. A middle of the round. Yeah. Not down
Not
here
you
in
doing
Texas.
the one chip thing.
Yeah. Listen, I'll be fine. I'll be fine the next time. I have my technique down. The Texas A&M University. A stands for agriculture. They, for the past 35 years, have been breeding jalapeno peppers to be less spicy, to be bigger, less flavorful, and less spicy. This is not just me accusing them. I have a Christian Science Monitor article from June 7th, 1983, when the first crossbreed of the TAM, the TAM subbreed of jalapeno was introduced in the Dallas, in the central Texas markets. And then just a few days ago, March 10th or March. Oh no, this would have been last year. Sorry, May 8th of last year. I have a Dallas Eater magazine article about the journalist who interviewed a bunch of different restaurants in the Dallas area. And all of them were yeah, we don't know. They're getting inconsistent jalapeno shipments. Some of them are super spicy, they're used to. Some of them are just fat and bland. And turns out Texas A&M for the past 30 plus years has been putting in
Wow.
their versions of peppers, but because in Texas there's no labeling, like there's 4 or 5 different like subtypes of jalapeno, but they all look the same. And so if you don't know what you're looking for, you're getting bad jalapenos accidentally.
Jail.
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 What did you guys do? So the beautiful, and I'm not saying the jalapeno is the spiciest pepper in the world, because it's not. It's a fine
gotta have
pepper.
a little kick to it, though.
It's got to have something.
Otherwise, it's
and
just a
there are
green bell
some.
pepper.
So the most recent,
Yes.
and I'm so glad you said that, because the article I see here tested the TAM2. So that's the most recent varietal. Its heat rating, it varies. It's a natural thing, so it's not a set Scoville unit level, but it can test. Some of the peppers have tested as low as the same spice level of a poblano pepper. Which is nothing. It's like 1,000. It's like 1,000 Scoville units. It's nothing. That's insulting. I have to get Serranos
Texas,
now. I get
too.
Serranos. Yeah, in Texas.
Double jail.
In Texas. Jalapeno. We eat jalapenos for breakfast. There's a place called Hutchins Barbecue. Guys, come down here, because I'm going to give you a Texas Twinkie, which is a jalapeno stuffed with brisket, wrapped in bacon, and smoked.
Yep.
That's a Texas Twinkie, and you need to have like 15 of them.
You're right.
But now not, because it may not even be spicy.
Jail.
I'm gonna pretend
Jail.
like I don't want the non-spicy version and be outraged.
Be outraged.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be spicy.
It is.
Let's
They've
have a little
created an
something.
abomination.
Even then, when it's smoked, it's wrapped in bacon, it's stuffed with brisket.
Incredible.
Like, you're not going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like, it's going to be like, oh, it's a nice little. It's like when your white dad eats a Cool Ranch Dorito. It goes, oh, it's got a little kick to it. That's all you're going to taste. Oh, get these away from me. Oh, these are dangerous. Like,
Yep.
And even we can't even have that anymore.
Yeah.
In Texas. If I'm going to stay here for
shame.
another year or two, I'm demanding. And there's actually at the end of this Dallas magazine, sorry, not Dallas Eater. That's a separate article. That's the magazine that ranks all the barbecue places. That is what I'm following coming up when they release the list. No, this article recommends go to your local grocer and demand that they start supplying the hotter peppers.
Wow.
Like, we're gonna have a full. You know how they made Red Delicious apples and only red, and everyone complained, so now we have like 15,000 types of like better apples.
So many types of apples.
We're hoping there are way too many apples. I'll give you that. There are way too many apples, but at least we have better apples. Same thing can
True.
happen with jalapenos if we believe in ourselves.
If Mike Pence has the courage to do the right thing.
If he has the courage to do the right thing. Oh man.
No.
Josh, I'll fly down to Dallas and we can make some signs and protest outside of the Texas equivalent of Kroger's.
It's Kroger down
Yes.
here. Yeah, we got him. Tom Thumb. You want to go to Tom Thumb?
Tom Thumbs?
Tom Thumb.
Thumbs?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
It's
I'm
possessive,
revoking-
Josh.
I'm
You know
revoking
it's
it.
supposed to be
Whose
possessive.
grocery store?
It's
Tom
Thomas
Thumb.
Thumbs.
Yep. Meyer
Actually, every time
was
I
a
open-
person. Myers.
Every time, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this in real time, guys. I'm going to open up my Tom Thumb app.
Thumbs.
And it's going to say no. I'm going to see.
Josh,
this is a YouTube
unless
exclusive. It's
the
going to
man
say
only had one thumb, it is S, and it is
True.
possessive.
It's
If he had
It's
one
clearly
thumb,
a
I
picture
will
of a
accept.
child.
every time I open it, it says sincerely Tom Thumb.
It's cursive. There's no way to
So
know.
it's no.
There's no way. They don't teach it in school anymore, Josh.
Yeah,
Our
There's no way
education's
to,
failed us.
There's no way to
Yeah.
There's no way to know.
Wait.
Because they don't teach
you
it
were
in school
homeschooled. I know you-
anymore,
I
even
know you
though
were-
I learned it while I was in
I
school,
know you were
it
taught
has
first.
now been erased
Yes.
from my mind.
That was still the
Yeah.
hardest
That is
part
how
of the SAT.
That's how education works. Whatever they stop
couldn't-
teaching now is
It was
just
so hard to make
evaporates
sure
out
every
of my
little
brain.
bubble got filled with cursive. It was so hard.
Oh
No,
my gosh.
but maybe it was the ACT where you actually had to like sign something in cursive, like a whole sentence. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, I didn't take the ACT.
Maybe it's the SAT. I don't know.
Mm.
I've tried to block it out of my memory.
I
In
don't-
other news,
it-
we
it
should
never
have a fantasy
happened.
football league where
we're
the
adults.
loser
We all
has
have
to
master's
take
degrees, or at least
Oh.
almost have master's degrees. Why are we talking about our SAT and SAT scores?
because cursive. and stupid. I don't know.
Anyway, it's Tom Thumb. It's a different region
Thumbs.
down here. Tom's Thumb.
Where are
That's
you
fine,
from?
too.
Be
That
true
would
to
be
your
okay.
roots, Josh.
Josh, that would be fine. If it was Tom's Thumb, that's acceptable because at least something has to
Yeah.
be possessive. Something
Unless,
is it?
again,
Listen,
he
there's
lost
rumors.
a thumb in a farming accident or something. The
Yep.
man only had one.
There's rumors.
Acceptable.
Yeah.
I
There's
get it.
rumors
That's like
that
every other
Albertsons
person
is
where
going
I
to buy
grew up.
Tom Thumb anyway, so it's going to be Albertsons eventually, and I know
Yes.
that it's Albertsons.
Yeah.
Big business news. Albertsons, Tom Thumb, and Kroger are all thinking of merging, so that's fun.
And it'll be called Kroger's.
Kroger's Thumbertsons.
Yes.
Kroger's Thumbsons.
I like that.
That's perfect.
Kroger Thumbsons.
Kroger Thumbsons.
There we go.
I'd
All
shop
right.
there.
That's the new sponsor of this show. It's What We're Following, sponsored by Kroger Thumbsons.
So, by the way, my
Ooh.
action
Eat
statement
your
is go
thumbs
protest.
here.
Go to your closest grocery store and protest that jalapenos are not spicy enough.
Or if the sign is not possessive, make a letter and with an apostrophe.
Or demand that they add an apostrophe S
Yes.
to whatever their name is. And that includes things like trying to think of like a place that you wouldn't normally want to protest. Wendy's
Targets.
is good. Burger King. Go to Burger King and protest because that should be
But
that should be
that's
possessive.
but that's one king. Well, I guess that I don't know. It's just
His
grocery
what?
stores. Restaurants are fine.
Burger King's. Yeah, should be.
Burger
Should it?
King.
Okay. I don't know.
Burger King's. It's his. It's his restaurant.
Everything else,
yeah.
it's Wendy's, Arby's, Long John Silver's,
Have it
McDonald's.
yours way.
or KFC.
Yes.
Kentucky's. It's Kentucky. Yeah, we'll make.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kentucky's Fried Chicken.
it's not. It's just Kentucky. But yeah, make it possessive.
Kentucky's. Yes. Make it
Kentucky
that way.
Fried.
It's theirs.
Or Kentucky Fried Chickens. There's more than one. Hate to break
Kentucky
it to you
Fried
all that
Chicken's
think
one,
it's just one giant chicken that they've been harvesting the meat from for
Ooh,
years.
This has been a fun.
Oh,
wow.
This has been a fun episode.
See, this is why I tried to end this episode 20 minutes ago. Johnny, please save us.
Okay. Well, in
Can we talk
honor of
about
the
popcorn buckets
Oscars,
instead?
which I actually watched last night, I was going to talk about some movies that I've been watching recently.
Timothy
One
Chalamet.
does involve an AMC popcorn bucket, Aaron. Dune 2. Which,
oh boy.
man, whoever designed that bucket probably should go to jail too.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
immediate raise.
Yeah, I don't know. Good, all press is good press.
I don't think. I mean, Dune 2 was like one of the.
Josh,
few
did you
films
see
in
it?
recent Memory. No, I'm going to see it this weekend.
And Aaron, you have not seen it.
I haven't seen the first one, which I know is not necessarily like a
It's on
requirement,
Max.
but- okay.
It's not. It's
Um,
actually on Hulu. You can
it's on
watch it on
Hulu.
Hulu too.
easier.
Yeah,
It's
it's on
on
Hulu. So that's probably an easier version for most people, I think.
It's just a hero's
Go
journey.
watch it.
Just think of it's a hero's journey in the desert. It's great.
It is awesome. Main takeaway I think everybody's gotten on social media and Twitter is dudes love sand. I don't know what it is. Like the best stories in sci-fi and fantasy involve lots of sand.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
sand is great. Don't listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson, who tells you a thumper can't call a giant worm that lives in desert sand, but is okay with a psychic fetus. So, yes, those were real words and real descriptions of the movie at one point. And Neil deGrasse Tyson's telling you a thumper can't call a giant sandworm
Neil deGrasse Tyson
because they couldn't hear you.
has
So
never
that-
laughed
that-
in his life. He has
Oh,
never experienced joy. I
that
can't imagine
guy.
him looking at like Star Wars or something. And
Well, this is
going, like,
basically that's basically what he's doing.
yeah, this
'Cause
moisture farm's unrealistic given the relative density, relative air, humidity. Hey, listen, Neil deGrasse, you're smarter than me, but guess what? I'm also more fun than you.
yeah, giant sandworm
I've
like,
experienced more
can't hear
happiness than you in the past
vibrations,
year.
but
How
we're
about that?
okay with a psychic fetus. Like we don't question that, but we have a problem with the sandworms.
Mm.
Anyway, also what I've been following, which this is kind of old news, but I forgot to bring it up last week, so I got to bring it up now. So apparently, and this is why Twitter's great, because something that happened in 2003 in Chile was brought to life.
Yes, it was.
Now.
It's
And
beautiful.
it is So I'm just going to read the original because it's fantastic. So around 2003 in Chile, when the original trilogy of Star Wars began airing on television there, they did a funny thing to avoid cutting to commercial breaks. So they stitched commercials into the films themselves. And so now we have slowly been discovering scene after scene after scene of the original trilogy with a Chilean beer company called Cerveza Cristo. So an example is early on in episode 4, A New Hope, when Ben Kenobi is with Luke in his house, and they're talking about, like, he's showing him the lightsaber because he goes to, a storage compartment and he's pulling the lightsaber out. Well, instead of pulling the lightsaber out, he pulls open the storage container, and right there in the storage container are a bunch of cold ones, a bunch of Cerveza Cristo. It plays the theme song. This was truly aired in 2003 in Chile. They didn't cut to commercial breaks. They just stitched right into the movie. It makes Ben Kenobi seem like a raging alcoholic because it's always him pulling out the Cerveza Cristo. He pulls them out in the Death Star, Millennium Falcon, Tatooine, all over the place. So if you have not seen them, they are fantastic. Maybe you saw some edits, people putting them in all different things now.
It's so good.
My
Good.
favorite one. Did you see the episode 5 one?
Which one, Josh?
The one where he pulls it out of the tauntaun?
Yes.
No way.
Yes, it's so good because literally, and again, I think this is an original one. I tried to check and make sure this was an original.
No, that was an original one.
That's
They
crazy.
They're literally freezing to death.
Han Solo pulls 2 out, and then it's 2 actors who are dressed vaguely like the original characters, cracking cold ones and looking out into the night sky. It's so good.
And they're literally freezing to death in that scene.
Yes.
That's my favorite. They're literally, he has to cut open the tauntaun for the body heat to live. And instead he cuts it open and there's some Cerveza Cristo. And apparently to the Chileans, this is really crappy beer. They're like, this beer sucks. So
listen, if I
kind of want one though.
Yeah.
I want to try a Cerveza Cristo. Maybe I'll go to Jungle Gyms.
I have a very specific action statement.
I don't know.
Who's the director of the FTC right now? Or who would be in charge?
You think I'm more politically aware and engaged than I really am,
who would
Josh?
be in charge? Would FTC be in charge of the commercials that a network can air? Is that them? Let's say yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
This could
sure.
be being dumb. Anybody who's
TV.
ever held an office, if I become the head of the FTC, or if the head of the FTC is listening, and you know more than I do, because you do, either you do it yourself or you get to the guy in charge and demands that all commercials from now on for everything, TVs, movies, anything on television, must now be integrated fully into the show itself.
You wouldn't leave. You wouldn't leave the couch.
I would want to know, because I want to know these things. I want to know how
You'd
they're
be
gonna try
guessing
and
the
how-
whole time.
There's nothing. It's so much. And listen, I've been starting to watch Suits, and don't do it like a lazy way like Suits does it. They'll have they were sponsored by Samsung, and they'll have a 2-minute shot of oh, look at me tapping on my Note 3 or whatever was out in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is dumb. This is unimaginative. Pull a beer from a tauntaun, you cowards.
Well, Josh, I want to watch the original trilogy now.
Yes.
These versions.
Yeah,
Because the whole time I'll literally be like, oh my gosh.
Hold on. Are they on eBay?
Anytime he opens a door, I'll be like, is this where the beer's going to be? You'd be on the edge of your seat. They should put them in the theaters. People would go.
Who knew that 20, 30 years ago, the Is It Cake fad happened already?
Yeah.
Is this a beer commercial?
Yeah.
That messed me up for a good month.
I know.
I started thinking everything was cake.
Yep.
Everything.
Every now and then I just cut open my shoe because you can never be too sure.
Can't be too careful.
Yeah.
You said this was in 2004?
2003.
Okay, close enough. I have an eBay Chile Star Wars La Venganza de los Sith. So episode 6, but it's the same time frame.
Do
Unopened
the
VHS.
Ewoks have Cerveza Cristo?
Wouldn't that be the best?
Gosh.
What
What if Leia hands Wicket a Cerveza Cristo
Oh, I'm sorry, I
instead of
didn't
that
mean
little
6.
like popcorn
I'm
thing?
sorry, Revenge of the Sixth. That's 3, not 6.
Oh,
No, that's still got
Oh.
possibilities too.
That's
yeah, it
actually.
I mean,
does.
instead of
Grievous,
Obi-Wan
instead
getting
of-
a
instead
kid,
of-
he just gets a beer.
he gets
the nurse robot hands him a beer.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
even
Yeah.
better.
yeah. The younglings trying to protect themselves. They think they're opening their lightsabers, but then it cuts back. to
They're
them.
all, it's
And
like
that's a
20
problem on so many levels.
I just
so many-
on
That's
all the
so many
videos though,
lawsuits.
I haven't ever seen how they cut back. So that's what I'm also equally intrigued by.
Yep.
I've seen them like cut to
Oh, yeah,
the
because
beer.
he's supposed to
But,
receive a lightsaber. I don't know. Yeah, how
Right.
do you-
I haven't seen them like stitch on the back end back into the movie because they
Yeah.
didn't go to commercial. Like it was the replacement. So
Mm.
how did they restitch it? And also, how is this legal in a way too?
right.
Like, it should be legal
It
because
should.
it's hilarious.
it
But
should be. It should be not just legal, mandatory.
Mm.
yeah, you want to advertise for us? Find a segue.
Hey,
A dumb
creative.
segue, not a creative segue.
Yes.
Dumb segue.
Yes.
It
it
Did you
has
guys
to
ever
be
watch?
stupid.
Did you guys ever watch Andrew Tribeca?
I don't think so.
It was a cop. It was a cop sitcom that aired a few years ago. Whoever they were sponsored by. Actually, this is a great example. I want the Angie Tribeca thing. One episode they were sponsored by Ford, and the cop, like the driving to different scenes to analyze the crime, they would drive in a different Ford vehicle every time with the same establishing shot of the Ford.
Oh,
Everything.
interesting.
And so they'd be driving, it'd be like, Ford, new Escape. And they drive. And then the next scene, literally the next scene, Ford, new Fusion.
Mm.
And it was just the dumbest, most blatant, like, hey, we're advertising, deal with it. I
Mhm.
want that type of business.
Yeah. Well, look, the whole point of this show is we say to give sports content to you, the listener. It's not actually true. The point of this show is to eventually become the dictators of sports so that we can just run it the way they all need to be run. Part of that is as wow.
Oh no. Oh no.
As Josh shows, very bad advertising for this company. Part of the deal of us being dictators of sports is that we also have control over sports commercials. So I think this is actually our way of making this happen. You're watching college football, and I don't know how this really applies, but maybe instead of a Gatorade bath, I don't know.
No, instead of throwing a football,
They
they're
dump
throwing
bottles
Bud
of
Lights.
beer on you.
Yes.
Not beer poured into the Gatorade container.
Correct.
No.
The bottles.
Yes.
They're full.
Bottles made with like that glass that breaks really easily.
Oh,
for, like,
yeah, like the
movies.
sugar
Oh.
glass.
And they're just chucking bottles
good.
at you.
Yes.
I was gonna say, Josh, that's worse. You don't want them breaking on the man.
Mhm.
No, it's like that
glass.
sugar. It's like that sugar
Yeah,
glass.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's a good idea.
Listen,
we can
next
work
year,
with
and I
that.
heard, and this is actually
now it's,
I
again, it's
want
not
them-
just this company, right? Like, let's get
No,
Lee
I want
Corso, who you think he's about to
Oh.
put on the headset, but or the mascot head, but instead he pulls out a chainsaw and cuts down a tree, and the commercial is a chainsaw company.
Or instead of putting on a Buckeye, a Buckeye head, he puts on the Pop Tarts costume,
Oh my
and he
gosh!
becomes the Pop Tarts.
See,
Yes.
this is so good. This is going so many places.
So many good places, exactly.
Yes.
Thank you, Cerveza Crystal. I
Thank
don't
you
care
for
what
having
the
these types of rules to
Chileans
allow
say about your quality or taste.
Mhm.
You've made us smile
Yes.
over 20 years later. Thank you
Mhm.
for your service. And shout out to that marketing or ad guy.
Yeah,
Incredible.
He's smiling somewhere. Like it finally paid off.
they said I wouldn't. They said I was crazy.
They said I was a madman.
Yep. Well, this is my thoughts. This was one of the podcast episodes we have done.
This is one of the most podcasts we've done.
Yes. And there's only one way to end this show. and it's with the Cerveza Crystal commercial jingle that I'll put at the end of this episode.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my. All right, YouTube. We will talk to you next week with a
Bye,
bracket.
YouTube.
My YouTube.
Yes, bracket.